This area here is like the holy grail of, with all the different beach breaks. We have Trestles, we got, San Onofre, we have Cottons, we got all the beach breaks in San Clemente.
Surfers come from all over California to surf Trestles and Cottons and Middles and Church and San Onofre, because it's one of the best waves in California, maybe the world.
The wave's still one of the best, not one of the, probably the best on the coast.
Trestles down in the south part of San Clemente was a whole nother world because the surf was so much better.
There was a whole era of the Marines controlling that area, which is lower Trestles, upper Trestles, Cottons.
And at the time I started surfing, that kept people off of it. You couldn't get in unless you were brave enough to sneak in. And a lot of people aren't willing to sneak onto a military base. Of course, surfers are. You sneak in, you escape.
I love surfing lower Trestles back in the day when we had to sneak in, right?
It's like you walk up to this no trespassing sign at Trestles. The Marines are patrolling, right? And you just had to figure out how to get past the Marines to go surfing.
The Marines, we used to, they try and chase you. If you're on their property, they try and get your board, things like that. It was a cat and mouse game. But the surf was really good there, so it was worth, the adventure running through the jungle and dodging them and diving in the water. And they once you're in the water, they couldn't get you. They get mad, they throw rocks at you, things of that nature.
And so that meant that there weren't a lot of people. There weren't crowds there compared to other places.
But when you surfed it, there was nobody out, hardly ever. And the wave is exactly like it is today. One of the best waves on the whole coast.
I remember sitting out in the lineup at Trestles, and tanks were coming in through the break and then driving up on the beach. And as one passed me, the hatch on the turret popped open and a guy stuck his head up and said, "How's the surf?"
They came in at 4 a.m. or something like that, and they parked their car somewhere in San Clemente and hiked in and snuck through the jungle along San Mateo Creek. And then, but in those days you'd be paranoid because you didn't want to get caught because your parents would yell at you, or worse.
And so you would park your car in the bushes there, and literally at the crack of dawn, you would sneak in and time it so that the Marine Corps patrols would miss you. Or sometimes you'd get onto the beach and here they'd come in the Jeep, and it was like you're running in the soft sand with this 40-pound surfboard, and you barely get in the water, and the guy's standing on the beach and he's apoplectic that he can't get you to come in.
We had Marines throw rocks at us. We had Marines running through. We're in knee-plus deep mud sloshing, and Marines are right on our tails running. And if they catch you, they steal your board.
At that time, you hopped a fence and you paddled through the lagoon, and you got to the beach, and you hoped there weren't any Marines around, and you jumped out in the water to start surfing.
The Marines would shoot at people in the water, but you know what? All we wanted to do was surf.
They'd throw rocks at us. I mean, they would throw big old rocks and try to hurt and kill you. And they would say that, they steal your surfboard. I never lost one, but I have buddies that lost one.
We used to have cars that we called Trestles Specials, and we drove through. We'd cut a link on the chain of a farm gate on the farms in the valley behind Trestles, and then sneak in under the Coast Highway Bridge, down the road, turn right on rough marine roads into the vegetation, and drive as close as you could get to the railroad, then drive into a bush, hide your vehicle, and go in and surf.
We would drive our car into the jungle, under the military base, and cover it up with trees and branches. Then if the Marines found it, they'd let the air out of your tires, so we'd have to carry extra pumps and,
I had a friend that drove his VW bug into the jungle, and when he came back, the wheels were gone. They jacked it up and took his wheels. You know, just antics like that.
And they'd come in and try to find the cars and take their valve stems and their rotor caps and take them up to the gate where the exit and leave a note on the window saying, pick up your stuff at the gate and contend with us. And then when we knew the Marines were raiding, we'd sneak out on the highway and take their valve stem and rotor cap.
I had to go to San Diego and go to a federal building because they wanted to create a database on people that they suspected as being spies because I was surfing at the trestle.
And if they caught you, they would take your surfboards and they would confiscate them and take them down the main side.
And I lost surfboards, cars.
Donald had to go back onto base. He said there was a huge pile of surfboards, and he had to sign this thing saying he wouldn't go on base for, I don't know, forever or something.
And then there was always this mythical storage yard on the Marine base that had these hundreds of perfect condition 60s surfboards that were absconded from surfers through the 60s and just always been in this evidence room laying there for 40 and 50 years. And all these surfboard collectors are going, oh my gosh, it's the golden city of the Incas. It's in, you know, it's on the Marine base.
When Nixon bought the Western White House and started staying there, whenever he was out here staying at the Western White House, the Marines would cordon off the whole area.
I remember a big change came. I was sneaking in one day, and it wasn't a Marine chasing me, it was a Secret Service man. And by the way, they're way better than the Marines. They're way sneakier, way more better at hiding, and way scarier.
They cordoned off Secret Service, Marine Corps, Marines, a Coast Guard cutter off of lowers and cottons.
And the situation was that the president had made the Western White House right there up on Cotton's Point. And he was there, and so Secret Service was protecting him. And so they were hiding out in the bushes and stuff when we'd come through. President Nixon observed the interaction with all these surfers with the Marines, because the Marines were also on a higher alert when he was there, and realizing, hey, these surfers are getting harassed, their boards are getting stolen. There's more than anything, he noticed there's a huge desire for people to get down to this beach. And why aren't they getting down here? And he pulled the strings to make public access to Trestles a right to the public. And to this day, there's a asphalt walkway that goes down. You can skate downhill the whole way down there.
People are moving from, Santa Barbara, Ventura, Encinitas, all around just to get there because, for one, there's a quality wave there at lower Trestles and upper Trestles.
The best feeling at Trestles was to go out after, say, you've had 10 or 15 days where it's crowded and you go, you didn't get many waves. Then all of a sudden you'll go out and there'll be like 8 guys out instead of 40 guys, and it's beautiful. And you just surf and you come in and it's like you've gone to the mountaintop or something. It's so awesome.